friends, Jennifer from Sun Dragon Paper and Lace here. Thank you for coming to my channel and welcome. Today I would like to share and maybe have you craft along with me this snippet roll that I just made, and I thought that maybe I would do another video. I have a video on doing a skinny snippet roll, and it wasn't really a tutorial or anything like that. It was mostly a craft along, and I'm not very good at tutorials, but I will do my best to try to do a tutorial. I was running out of this skinny lace, and the reason why I say skinny lace is because I do put on the lace and fabric or whatever decor I want on a piece of skinny fabric or ribbon or whatever. You can use ribbon, you can use just a torn piece of fabric. I like to, this is actually from a scarf. I just tear scarves apart and rip them, and you can do that to fabric as well and make ribbon out of them. So being that this is so thin, so skinny, I like to do a snippet roll. And the reason why for the skinny snippet roll, I think it's better utilized. It's a little bit more practical than the wider snippet rolls. I guess it just depends on what you like to work with. So anyway, here we go. So the first thing I do is, and by the way, all this lace here, this is my playground, my lace playground. A lot of these have, I have some of my own vintage in here, my own vintage lace, and a lot of these laces too do come from Esme from Crafty Me Shop. If you ever look her up on Facebook, she has wonderful, beautiful lace. Like this is from Esme here, and same with a lot like this as well too. But yeah, I mix a lot of my own stuff and that I find on my own finds. So along with some of her stuff, and she has vintage and new laces as well, but it's all beautiful and really complements snippet rolls and your journals. So I'm going to use a little bit wider than what I did with this snippet roll here. And I start out with glue. I don't think I'm going to make a really long one. I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter just for the sake of the video, so I won't have such a long video for you. And what I do is kind of like when you collage, you don't think about it and just put something down. And however you do, what I do like to do is put something wide and flat. I start out with that first. Rip this. Start out with a wide and flat type of a base, so to speak. And I just glue it together. Just put a little bit of glue here. Doesn't have to be a fancy expensive glue, because you're going to sew right over it once everything is put together. And what I found, the more layers that you put on top, the better. So this is, we're going to try to do a 3-layer snippet roll. And putting down something like this first is good. And I just tear it every which way. I'm not thinking about it too much, except that right now I'm just going to start with something flat and plain. Let's cut that a little. Okay. So like right now, this is a little bit too decorated. I want this to be maybe my second layer. But like something like cheesecloth would be good as your first layer. Let's see if I can tear this. I love cheesecloth. There's a type of cheesecloth too that is not quite as robust, I guess, or as not quite as sturdy as this cheesecloth here. The other kind of cheesecloth that I have, it's really the cheap kind, and I think I got this at the grocery store. But see how the weave isn't as tight, but it also works as a great fiber as well. And this is, I think I got this on Amazon, and it comes in a big sheet, and it has lasted me forever. It's lasted quite a long time. So how's everyone doing? Hopefully you had a great weekend. It is now Sunday over here. We had a pretty big yard sale this weekend. We did our yard sale on Friday and Saturday, and it's just so hot over here in Southern Oregon that we only did a morning to early afternoon type of a morning to afternoon yard sale because it was just too hot. And we did pretty good. We sold a lot of things and made quite a bit of money. I was very surprised. We still unfortunately have too many things, and I still would like to get rid of some more stuff. But that will have to be for another time. Kind of hoping that someday we'll get my craft room together. Kind of want a she shed. And it's just a matter of, I mean, we have room in our backyard for a she shed and our side yard, but we just don't know what the city ordinance is. So I don't know what that will, oops, that didn't tear very well. There. See, I like this kind of a shabby look. Let's make that a little skinnier. And you know, I'm not too concerned about how many pieces come apart like this because I'm going to end up using these pieces. You use a lot of these pieces, those tiny pieces, for you can use them for tabs at the end of a page, decor, or I use it as a background as a cluster. Use these for clusters. It's really great. Let's see, let's do this one. And you can make this as wide or as skinny as you want, but the main idea really is to make sure that you do have a base, which this would be considered the base, and then the first layer. And then, you know, the first layer doesn't look as pretty, so I like to have more than just one layer. I think 2 max is probably 3 max is probably a good gauge of how things look. 2, this is actually 2 layers right here, and it doesn't look bad at all. But really, I prefer 3 because it depends on whether or not you like the back to show, but I thought this was pretty. So when I cut a piece, I might cut a piece right here and maybe add like some bling to that in a journal, depending on what my journal looks like or what type it is. And add a word, add some bling to it, or even cut a little bit longer piece and make it a belly band, or decorate an envelope or a pocket, which that's always fun too. Okay, let's see. This is kind of cool to have sticking out. See, we're not supposed to think about this too much, but you know, sometimes I just can't help myself. And you know, you can use all kinds of fabric, like doesn't have to be just lace or anything. You just use anything that you like. I've even made snippet rolls with fabric and paper, mixed old paper, old pages with lace. Those are fun snippet rolls too. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to starting my crafting group. We're going to have a craft group come over to my house, and maybe once a month, and do a little crafting, a crafting day. And I don't know if it's going to be junk journaling or if it's going to be just making little projects or something, you know, because everybody that I know, they have their own thing. They like to crochet, they like to knit. I have one friend that likes to make stepping stones for the garden, you know, with concrete, that's really fun. I always thought doing mosaics or something like that would be fun. But you know, that's all I need is another craft, right? Another craft to take up my time when I don't have the time. Okay, so that is the first layer. And then I'm going to go in with something a little bit more fancy for the second layer, especially if I'm going to be wanting to do 3 layers. So I'm not going to go extremely fancy. So hold on one moment. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So let's go ahead and let's put the second layer in here. And again, you can make this the second layer. If you're just going to stick with this second layer, then you can just make it as fancy or not as fancy as you want. The idea is to have strips ahead of time, you know, for that's what the idea of a snippet roll is just to have something ahead of time already made when you do your creating, which is kind of nice. Then you don't have to try to come up with like a cluster or anything like that. Try to create it from scratch. From the get-go, you've already made something ahead. You see how I have this a little bit out of the edge? So being that I'm going to make this 3 layers, I'm going to put something in the middle right here too, so that it'll still... Hi, honey. Hi. How are you?
Good.
I am videotaping right now.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyway, I am going to add something a little bit, just something like this that hangs. This came from a scarf. How am I going to put this? Maybe I'll do it like this. And yeah. Something like that, probably. And that will be sticking up like that. So second and third layer do require a little bit more thought than just trying, just to blindly put things in. Only because you want to make sure everything is just kind of cohesive. Or to tell you the truth, it doesn't have to be really cohesive or any particular way, because when you cut your snippet, you might want to add to it already, depending on the style of your journal. So that's what's gonna really matter. See, I love how the polka dots show through here, so I'm just gonna do just a little kind of a thingy like that across. Don't want to cover it completely. And let's do something like this. Right now I am using a Uhu stick, and it's mostly because just to keep things in place, and then I'm gonna sew in the middle. And when you sew, you'll see, depending on what thread you use, you can use any type of color thread, but I used a thread that was kind of has a sheen to it, and basically a neutral tone color thread. And you can even sew like zigzag or weave back and forth, whatever you feel your creative nature is going to be, whatever comes up. Let me do this. This one's hard to rip. Some texture. So I'm gonna go like this here. And you see how you can still see the pink shining through this fabric, which is kind of cool. So I just want to do it like that. And then when we come in with the third layer, it will just be like a background. It'll enhance the background, let's say. What else? Let's do a little, let's do some of this. Yeah, let's do that. I think this is some of Esme's. Isn't that pretty? This would be pretty for the top, for the third layer. So I'm going to put that aside. Let's put some pink. This is from Esme too. I love the pattern on this. This is almost like a, it's not quite tulle, but it's a little gauzy type. Let's do it like that. And then we'll do the third layer on there. Okay. So this is with the second layer. And let's do a third layer. And that will kind of, the third layer just kind of accentuates the background. So it's a little bit, I find if you put a little bit more of a decoration in the front, I mean in the third layer, you see how that is? I think that's pretty. Okay, I'm not even going to rip this. I'm just going to do the whole thing. And then we'll sew right through it. And it'll be neat to have those little pearl things, these little pearl blings, and the, yeah, I have to be careful when I sew through, make sure not to run the needle through all of that. But look how pretty. I love that. Okay, what else for third layer? This is really pretty lace. Esme, it's beautiful. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Is it Esme or Esme? Esme, I know it's Esmeralda, right? Esme. She's a hard worker, that lady. She does amazing work. She is one busy lady. I think I like it better like this. Like this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do one piece. Like that, because I like this flower right there. Okay, and then let's put something here. This is kind of cool, huh? Let's do that. Okay. Maybe this way, like this. Yes. Yep. I like it. And I think what I'm gonna do too is maybe do a weave when I sew it through. It depends on what this pearl thing is going to be, what that's going to do. What through the sewing machine, I'll have to figure it out. And I'm not the greatest sewer. See, this is two from Esme. Isn't that pretty? This would be really cool in slow stitching. Any of you that know slow stitching? Rachel from Roxy Creations, she does beautiful slow stitching, which I haven't gotten into yet. Would love to, but haven't. I don't have the courage to do it. I've done a little bit of slow stitching, but just, you know, like a running stitch like type, but anything fancy. That's that. I love this piece. I only have this much left, unless I have some in my stash somewhere. I can't remember. But this came from a runner. It was a doily, a runner. It's one thing I love about going to estate sales. It's just so fun to find old things like that. See, this was from a baby bassinet. This baby bassinet cover. Okay, what else? Got all kinds of stuff. Let me see if I can cut this in half and make it a little bit shabbier, because I just love shabby. There we go. That looks good. Okay. And you know, again, this is just my style of snippet rolls. There's all kinds of videos out there that have different types of styles. You can, doesn't have to be lace, like I said earlier. It doesn't have to be anything like that. I'm gonna make this four layer right here. It's whatever you want, whatever you are into. Ooh, that's pretty. I think this is from Esme as well. So Esme had a kind of a sale, like a vintage sale. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. And she had things in bundles, in packs of little strips on different items, and it's just like a mystery bag almost, but they were vintage things. There. What do you guys think? So anyway, I bought a lot of really neat stuff, fun stuff. So thank you, Esme, for having that sale. That was just lovely. It was wonderful. And something I shouldn't have been doing before I go on vacation. I will be going to Hawaii here let's see, I'll be in Hawaii next Sunday. Next Sunday I would be in Hawaii. So, not that I video regularly anyway, but I will not be videotaping for about a week. And, but I will be, let me go ahead and sew this up, and then we'll wrap up here shortly. I'll be right back. All right, look at this, guys. Make sure it's up close so you can see. So all the little danglies here, things sticking up, the shabbiness. I love this. I'm going to have to think about it. I know that I am out of my own for journal making out of this supply, but I'll probably make more and put them on sale on my Etsy shop. See, and this is all that it looks like in the back. So I just kind of weave back and forth. And it made it really easier for me to do that on this side because of the pearls and stuff I needed to go around them. And it wasn't so bad. It wasn't that hard. Okay, there you go. Thank you so much for crafting along with me, and if you can please share and like my video and make a comment, that would be fantastic. I appreciate you being here. Until the next time, bye-bye.